Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name is CB Studios, also known as Kurt, and coming to you for a little bit of a spur of the moment video. Probably could have planned this, but I didn't because planning is not really my forte. I'm coming back to you with another Ghostface review. Now, the last time we did a Ghostface review on this channel, it was the 25th anniversary costume, which has now taken pride of place on my mannequin here behind me, so it's no longer my wearable or my current robe. It's the 25th anniversary, and I gotta say, on a mannequin, this thing looks great. It's not the stock mask. We do have a pre-2010 EU on that mannequin there, but yeah, she looks great. It's a great option if you can find it. Today, we are coming to you with a new Ghostface review. Technically, it's an unbagging, but I already unbagged it and then was like, I feel like you guys are going to want to see this. We're going to want to talk about it because it's one of the newer and cooler Ghostface masks that have come out, at least in the last year or so. They've only just hit, and I really wanted to share this one with you. So, this comes to us from costumebox.com.au. At the time of me recording this, this was the third last one that they had. They had 2 left when I checked up on the website earlier today. But you should be able to find them from most of your Halloween retailers. I know in the United States, you can get it from Spirit Halloween. It's just going to be a case of looking around to try and find them. Don't ask me where to buy them. HalloweenCostumes.com, maybe. Costumebox.com.au definitely had them when I bought it, but probably no longer when this video comes up. What are we looking at today? We are looking at the brand new Ghostface hockey mask. Now, being a giant Ghostface fan, as you may have been able to gather, as well as being a big fan of the Friday the 13th movies, this I was eagerly awaiting. And I kind of had an idea on what we were going to get, and I gotta say, I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, but this is probably pretty close to it. This is a hard plastic white Ghostface mask with a 3-point mask strap and a bunch of holes drilled into it to mimic Jason Voorhees' hockey mask. Now, amusingly enough, as much as I love the new Jason Universe design for the mask, and I do love that, I will fight you on it, I like that we're getting Jason back, this actually has a more accurate placement of holes than that mask, or at least to the canonical Friday the 13th Jason. This is really cool. This is the same mold of hard plastic mask that you will find for things like our mirror ball mask and things like the devil face mask. It's the same mold of plastic mask, although this one does look a little bit wider. No, they are the same. They're the same. It's just, it looks like it. It's that same mold of white plastic mask that we've seen around for a while. The same mold of face mask that was used for the Scream 2022 stab scenes. And I gotta say, I really like this mold of mask. I'm glad that it's still around. I just don't like it as sort of a mainline white Ghostface mask. We've got a really nice paint apps on this one. You know, nice solid black on the mouth and the nose. Great black around the eyes. And we do have some eye mesh. It is, as you can see, quite see-through. So if you've got it up to your face, you can probably see my eyes. So that's something to be aware of. We do have the Jason mask snaps down here on the cheeks. And we do have black snap imitations, or imitation snaps, I should probably say, up on the top. Now, our 3-point strap system is not a snap-on strap system. These guys are actually a big plastic rivet that's manually, like, squished to hold these on. So your straps aren't removable on these guys. We've got a nice header tag, and unfortunately we do have 2 holes up on the top that our hang tag tags, I guess, barbs go through, which is, yeah, I don't love that, but it's okay. It is what it is. Our inside of the mask, it does have a nice piece of sponge foam in the top, which seems to be the norm for these sort of hard plastic masks. And mine is just a little bit grubby, a little bit dirty. And that's just from, like, general wear and tear. I think just from the way that they're shipped, I imagine they're not shipped in bags. We do have a tag on the back of the strap, which does say Funworld. It's got a manufacturing date in there in the inside. And this one is in April to June 2025. Up on our top, we do have a duo logo tag. So we've got French and we have English up the top. We have hockey mask and masque du hockey. And now I will grab it down just as we're doing a comparison at the end, but I do have an official Funworld goalie mask, hockey mask, that is tagged, and so we'll compare them and see if there's any sort of differences. Now, one of the things that you will notice with these guys is normally these would be a little bit deeper. I think these are cut a little bit shallower for the hockey mask designs. But we do have that telltale hole behind the chin, as you can see right there. And that hole was actually used on the original release of these guys, the original release of the white masks, I should say, back in 2017. They actually stitched the hoods around, but they only stitched them down to about these snap marks. And then down the bottom here, actually I can show you because it's on this one, we actually have it stitched through the hole at the bottom and they're not actually attached further down. This is a 2017 devil face mask, so that's kind of where these come from. And if we look at it, you can actually, maybe not. It's not that much. This is a little bit deeper than this guy is, at least around the front, around the top of the head. So there's something interesting to be said about that one. We do have on our tag, we have the 5 Cream logo up on there. It's not our Scream 6 or anything like that. It does say Ghostface lives. It's Funworld. It's official Funworld product. And our date on the back of the tag, it is an April to June 2025, which matches with our mask. Now, there are 2 versions of these masks available. You've got the nice clean white ones, and there's also an aged version, which is sort of like weathered under the cheeks and on the forehead and stuff. Paint jobs will vary with those guys. I would recommend going for the clean white versions rather than going for the aged versions, as, at least in my opinion, weathering on those is pretty iffy. If you're ordering online, you're ordering from a website, your mileage will vary with what you can get on like a good paint job. So I recommend, if you're going to try and pick up the aged ones, even if they're just for your collection, have a look at them in person rather than buying online, and that's going to be your best way of getting one that doesn't just totally suck. As far as the white ones go, it's pretty hard to screw up a plain white Ghostface mask. I mean, Funworld have been doing it for 25 years. They're doing pretty good. They know what they're at. No, 30 years now, nearly. Maybe. Something around that. Maybe earlier. A long time. They've been making Ghostface masks for a long time. They kind of know their way around black and white. So it's you know, pretty hard for them to screw these up. Ultimately, as a horror fan, this is one of the cooler pieces of Ghostface merch that they've brought out recently, at least in the way of masks. I know I'm a big fan of stuff like the Mirror Ball mask and our Glow Rhinestone masks and things like that are just a slight tweak. But there are some more dubious ones that they are bringing out, such as there's an Easter Bunny one and a St. Patrick's Day one. Not quite sure I'm in love with those, and there's not really that many masks coming out in this Halloween season that I'm going to actively try and chase down. This was a little bit of a spur-of-the-moment purchase just because it is such a cool-looking mask. I guess really should show you guys how it looks on. So, obviously with my long, luxurious hair, it's a bit goofy looking. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure I'm in love with how it looks on. I think as a display piece, it's a little cooler, but you know, as a wearable mask, it's a little bit strange. It does still have that very Ghostface look, but not sure it's got really the hockey mask sort of look to it. Now, taking a look at the Ghostface hockey mask compared to our Funworld goalie mask, this one is an April to June 2022. It's on that classic purple and green tag. Love that. Such a nice color scheme on these ones. First things first is on our original goalie mask, our straps are stitched. They're not riveted. These ones are riveted. They do go through the mask as opposed to these ones, which were surface mounted. These are a little bit more accurate to like a Jason mask, so that's pretty cool. And by the looks of things, our elastic on our original goalie mask is just a touch wider, about 5 mil or so, which is very interesting. These guys are a really soft, very, very soft, very flexible plastic, and this does glow in the dark. These guys are a much harder plastic. They're certainly an injection molded plastic, and they don't glow, which is a little bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have seen. It would have been nice to have seen something like that. Honestly, I'd almost be fine with seeing this sort of a mouth grill and our tri-hole setup that's on these classic sort of Funworld goalie masks. being used on something like this, but ultimately I think the Jason Voorhees style hole pattern was a little bit cooler. Looking at it, the holes are molded in as well, so it's actually a very intentional design choice. It's not what I originally suspected, which was just drilled in. This is a custom mold to make these ones, so that's something interesting to look at as well. And I do like that they went through and added in the actual snaps, proper metal snaps on the lower cheeks, just to really keep that Jason Voorhees look. That's about all from me today, guys. I just really wanted to show you guys this one. I wanted to get into the Ghostface video out because everybody likes Ghostface. And this is a very interesting piece that I'm you know, surprisingly impressed with. Still a little on the fence on how I truly feel about this. I think it's a cool idea in theory, and it looks great. It's going to look great on display. Not something that I would ever wear as part of like a Jason costume or anything like that. But hey, it's a Ghostface piece and it had to be added to the collection. If you guys liked this video, please drop a like, drop a comment, do all that bullshit stuff to try and boost me in the algorithm. I really don't care. I'm not here to try and, you know, be the biggest YouTuber in the world. It's just nice to know that people like the stuff that I like. If you have any questions about it, drop it in the comments, unless your question is, where do I buy it? Because you're going to get a snarky answer, so maybe just Google. Would be a really cool idea for something like that. If you like Ghostface and mask content, I've got a bunch more videos on my channel. Whole lot of horror stuff on this channel if you're into that stuff. I'm big into the spooky season and all the 80s slashes, and I mean, like, there's a killer clown and Ghostface and shit in the background. You guys should know. If you're watching my videos, you should already know what I'm about on this channel. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and until next time, always impulse buy Jason Ghostface masks.